My super quick background is I started off with drums around age 12, quickly gained success playing in cover bands at age 13, making good money, did the drum gig weekends for about 10 years, full-time East Coast tour for about a year, then had an opportunity to run sound lights for a regional band. Really became fascinated with that, the audio production side of things. So started a recording studio, even did a demo for Chris McVie in my 20s, recorded a relaxation CD that was carried by a few distributors. Then through a series of poor business and personal decisions, music performing, recording got put on hold for, sadly, about 20 years. However, during that time, I owned and operated a cassette, God, I'm dating myself, and CD replication facility, and we did some mastering and audio sweetening work for some very well-known artists with clients worldwide. It was not until age 55 I ended up playing again as a hack guitar player in a duo with a very good singer, and because we had a killer sound with clever marketing, we played almost every night for 18 months at a high rate. After that ended, I did some extensive traveling, met my lovely wife, and after about 1 year of marriage, literally the day after retirement, received the opportunity to become a cancer warrior and survivor with stage 4 squamous cell. An 18-month battle with surgery, radiation, chemo left me a shell of my former self, and I have some lovely permanent side effects. Surgery left me with only one vocal cord, so except for some limited range harmonies, I can no longer sing. Surgery and radiation combined left me with a bit of fibrosis, so I can't play guitar. But damn, I was gonna let that get in the way of my very first passion of playing drums. So I bought the drums you see here and used drumming as part of my physical therapy, and along with that, going to the gym every other day. That's helped tremendously and reignited my passion for music. That's the quick version. Moving along, I debated the Roland versus Alesis purchase before settling on the Strike Pro Special Edition of the Alesis offering. It was a far lower price and had better sounds. I was concerned by some of the original Strike Pro issues, but the Special Edition version has quickly proved to be the right decision. If you're not a subscriber, by the way, hit that subscriber button and check out the drum videos. You can watch my progression as I recovered and check out some pretty cool jams, along with some reviews of the kit. For headphones, I choose the Vic Firth Isolation headphones. They're a bit bulky, but comfortable, and more importantly, necessary because I'm using acoustic hi-hats, the Zildjian A series. Not because of any issues with the Strike Pro E-hats some have experienced, but simply because I'm a finesse drummer and need the feel of the acoustic hats. With the savings or difference in price of the Roland versus Strike, it left funds for this lovely mixer from Presonus, the Studio Live 16.0.2 USB, and this has been a good choice as well. Having a good mixer also handles your DAW preamp requirements and, very importantly, offers zero latency for recording playback. It also has a USB output jack to connect direct to computer. My first 20 drum videos are without the mixer and, in fact, direct from the Strike module to GoPro. And stick around because I'll show you exactly how to do that in a bit. Once I decided to use the mixer, the audio quality improved quite a bit. With the Strike module, you can go separate outputs to your favorite mixer or DAW. I use stock Strike module kit sounds and simply add some sub-lows and snap for punch and attack on the kick, a bit of bright hall reverb from the mixer on the snare, some hi-hat, high-end sizzle, and that's it. From the mixer, it's been direct to GoPro with no post-audio production whatsoever. And that is efficient and saves a lot of time. So that was my original intent. And then I think there must have been a COVID variant conspiring because it released into the music production recesses of my brain because I got the recording bug. But instead of getting the vaccine for that, I decided to let it run its course. And so I dive into this all-new experience for me, coming from the old-school analog days and now into DAW. And so I use the HM4 headphone amp because I use 2 sets of phones, the isolation phones for the drums and some classic studio phones for mixing. It also works well when I have my massive fan base over to listen That would be my wife and a friend or two, maybe. And I have some extra phones kicking around they can put on, sit on the futon and listen in. These AKG 240s I've had for 30 plus years, and I still prefer them over any other phones for reference and mixes. For vocal mic, I choose this Rode NT1A mic. One thing that's critical when budgeting for a home studio is your computer choice. WAV files and processing RAM demands are brutal with DAW software, and you will become frustrated very quickly with anything less than an 8-core processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and 1 terabyte storage. That's a minimal. More's better, but on a limited budget like myself, I chose the Dell XPS, which is handling everything just fine. This keyboard is a specific match for my DAW, which comes in handy to learn shortcuts as every key's labeled and color-coded. For a MIDI controller, I went with the M Audio key station with 61 weighted keys. I do play keys, so it was important to have a higher number of keys and some weighted feel as opposed to most of the tiny choices I see so often. Takes up more space, but it's well worth it. Now, where the magic happens, where it all comes together and your creativity gets processed for the world to hopefully embrace, or at least humor you along. As for me, I think the previous rounded experiences, especially as an analog recording engineer, will fast-track me along into this world of digital, and I'm already right out of the box enjoying many of the features not available in the analog days. Although I do find there's also some things missing from those former years, not applied much with today's recording techniques, but that's for a future video. Pro Tools with Cubase, a close second, have been the Pro Studio predominant standards for decades. However, Studio One is fast becoming the new darling of both home enthusiasts and pros alike, and for good reason. So I've decided on Studio One Professional version 5. There's no doubt in my mind this DAW will become a digital workstation of choice. It's very intuitive, and with their Sphere membership subscription, it provides a great value. Again, on a limited budget, I'm all about value, and for $200, it's hard to find a better studio monitor than the Yamaha HS5 speakers. By the way, if you're new to home recording, please don't put your monitors on your desk or console. Get a pair of speaker stands. They're inexpensive, and you'll get a much more natural sound without the resonance created by placing them on your console. Also, tune your room with a pink noise spectrum analyzer and invest in an EQ for your monitors to normalize the room. For the most critical purchase of all, drum roll please, a lava lamp. Seriously? How can one possibly summon the deities of creation without the mood-setting, almost omnipotent energy of such flowing energy? And then, of course, you need a good producer. This guy is my invaluable producer. I asked him to speak up with any blatant deficiencies, and to date, he hasn't said a word, so I must be doing okay. Now, I mentioned I'd share how to go audio out to GoPro in, and this simple little adapter is the key. It's a $9 adapter, and I've been very impressed as to the recording quality of most GoPros. It's not DAW quality, but it is extremely efficient if you're short on time, as I was, and want to share things quickly. Most every video on my channel is done this way. This cable fits the Hero version, so check the input jack of your particular device, and there's an adapter for it. I've linked this one below. So that's about it for phase 1 of my humble home studio. Next comes room sound treatment, starting with these windows, then some homemade corner and wall treatments. Once I add a second monitor for visual workflow enjoyment and a 31-band hardware EQ, I'll be good to go. Other gear already on the way that I consider to be important is an ergonomic chair, and a smug desk is on the way as I speak, and the snake to better organize the room and provide greater flexibility to space the drums differently if they prove to interfere with normal sound after I analyze the room. And also we'll get a power conditioning rack strip for power to keep everything stable. Phase 2 for 2022 will include some custom in-ear monitors, and that's something I'll discuss in a future video as well. Just keep in mind the vast majority of songs are listened to with earbuds or phones. Most of Phase 2 will be on the video side. Some good cameras, better power, pro lighting, and a full keyboard. It's a little at a time with limited resources, and I think so far I've been able to get great value with the purchase decisions, and I hope this little tour may help in your decisions as well. I'll be getting away from the drum covers, more into home recording techniques, recording theory and fundamentals, and even the songwriting production process, perhaps even following along with me as I go through my own process. So, if you're interested in that sort of thing, go ahead and subscribe, turn on the notification icon, and join me on this journey. If you have any questions regarding equipment choices or more detail on anything I've covered, just comment below and I'll reply to all questions. Please excuse me now as I go to consult with my producer.